Hey, so this is week 2 on the progress of this big renovation project we're doing out here in Tucson, Arizona. And we've got some really important decisions to make. We've been working really hard on coming up with our design on how we want to rebuild this house. While the demo crew has been going at it, tearing out everything on this project, we figured out how to haul our stuff out of here. You can see the dumpster behind me. We'll talk about that. And we also need to take our preliminary design plan and we need to now really pace it out, walk it out, make some big decisions on some things, changes that we want to make. And hopefully after today's visit, we can really solidify exactly how we want to rebuild and redesign this house. And then we can start working on our permits. So we're pretty excited about it. Let's go see the progress.
The Real Estate Funding Kit is out now. Learn how to get 100% funding for all your deals without dealing with the banks. Claim your free copy at myfundingkit.com.
Wow! What did you do, Ruben? ¿Qué hiciste? Se rompieron todo.
So we figured out we can get a 15-yard dumpster down in here, and we worked out a deal with the dumpster guy where he's gonna bring one in, give us about 2 hours to fill it, and then he'll be back, he'll switch it out. So we got room where he'll drop an empty one right next to the full one, grab the full one, run it, dump it, and then switch it out. So we're gonna be rotating through them. I mean, I have no idea. There's so much debris here. It'll be interesting to see how many of these we go through. We got guys wheelbarrowing them out of the house into this little 15-yard dumpster, and we'll see how long it takes us to get all of this debris out of here.
But you're not center of
So we put down in a drawing our redesign, and now what we need to do is measure it out and just make sure it feels right. So now with Ruben, our framer, we're going through and we're measuring out how big our rooms are. So then we can put our design to scale. So today was a really critical day out here at the job site because we came up with a really preliminary floor plan that we want to go with, but coming back out here after a lot more of the demos done and then really kind of pouring over our design ideas and putting it on paper. So we did a real rough draft kind of on paper here. And then coming out here, we were able to kind of rethink a lot of ideas with our windows and sliders. We actually changed our entire kitchen floor plan. Here's our kitchen. There's an island, doors out, wraparound cabinets.
Yeah.
And that's all right here, which is right now the outside patio. A lot of times it really takes just doing this in phases. So it's really hard to know what you want to do until you get going on it and you get some big picture ideas. And what we'd like to do is just get into that demo. It's a little out of the ordinary way of doing it because you would think you would get all this stuff figured out before you start tearing into walls. But really what we do is we want to get more of a visual with all of our demo done with a big picture idea and then start to really work through the details. For example, where the cabinets are going to go in the kitchen and hallways and the other thing that we did while we were out here today is we really measured out things. And that way we can put our design to scale now because we did some measurements on how big rooms are and some of that stuff. It's really hard to do on paper just from the computer. Conceptually, you really need to be on site. You need to stand there, pace it off, measure it out, kind of really get a feel for how big that room looks or how wide your hallway needs to be or the distance between your pantry and the kitchen, things like that. Is this a big enough island or should we make it a little bigger, a little smaller? So, and windows is a really big one, really trying to figure out how we capture our views the best way possible. So I've been on the phone with our designer who's on the computer, at the office while we're out walking it out, talking on the phone, doing FaceTime, and she's making updates and changes as we go. So it's kind of like being here, but we want her on the computer making those changes while we're deciding on things here at the job site. So just the process of doing one of these great big giant remodels like this, really fun though to kind of see it starting to come together. Our goal is to get all of this figured out and sorted out and then come up with our entire package for the redesign, including the cabinets we're going to use, the tile we're going to use, the fixtures we're going to use, have all of our measurements on everything, know exactly our hardwood flooring and just all of it, put that whole package together. And then that makes the process of actually doing the work, the implementation side, go so much faster. So really happy with week 2 progress out here at this great big rehab in Tucson.
You can't go into a rehab with that type of a demo and have a plan, because you have to demo all of it, figure out what you got, then you can go to the city and tell them this is what I need to do.
So the right way to do it, as unintuitive as it is you go in and you do all of your demo with a kind of a big picture idea, like we did. We went and we kind of had, okay, kitchen over here, but it's got to be big picture until you start tearing into your demo. And then
you don't know where your load-bearing walls are. Let's say you figure out, like we just figured out just now where our load-bearing walls were, and we can do a supporting wall where we didn't, like, so you have a little bit of flexibility on how you do your layout, and all of a sudden it'll save you a lot more work.
Yeah, because otherwise you submit permits, you make more changes, and you got to redo the permit. So now what we're doing is, this is our second visit, got a whole lot more clarity on what we want to do, and it's probably going to take one more walkthrough when all that debris is kind of pulled out of there, swept up, and then really kind of nailed down like window location and exactly where, you know, pantry's going to go, stuff like that, how big the island's going to be, just really kind of dial in everything on one more visit, and then have a really good plan.
Yeah, you're still trying to be cost conscious and go, can I get, like, for example, if I'm limited, let's say to get a big slider, I would have to redo concrete work, do a bunch of footings. Well, what if I just did an 8-foot slider and then I did 16 feet of windows? Well, yeah, you may do that there because that's a little bit of your limitation without spending too much money.
Mm-hmm. To get kind of the same effect you're going for.
You're going to basically get the same effect.
Yeah, but you need to get your demo done to know that.
Yes.
And see what you're dealing with.
Yep. Yeah. And then you prepare your plans, submit your permits. It drives people nuts. You want to start and go, let's get our permits in right now. But
well, it is backwards. In fact, when we called the city about permits, they were like, no, that's not what you do. You submit your entire redesign plan and then start your demo. And we were like, well, no, that's not how we're doing it.
Yeah. So
they're kind of like, wait, you want a demo and you don't know what you're going to do? Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
We do a demo permit. We demo everything. We figure out what we have, what our constraints are.
Get your measurements.
Get your measurements.
Yeah.
You do the best that you can for what you originally wanted within your constraint, within your cost constraints. Meaning, you can do anything you want if you spend enough money.
Right.
But if you're kind of going, hey, I don't want to spend 40 more grand to do footings, stem walls, steel, lentils,
headers, and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a really backwards way, but it's the right way to do it. We're having a contest over here about how many dumpsters we think it's going to take to haul away all this demo. Ruben, ¿cuántos latas?
Creo que como unas 8.
8?
6.
All right. Bob, how many?
15.
15?
14.
That's 14, 14.
15.
All right, what do you think?
10.
10?
Yeah.
So our highest is 14, huh? And that's one so far. All of that?
Though. They got rid of that whole pile.
They got rid of a pretty big pile.
Yeah, Ruben's always right. Don't question.
Wait, what did Ruben say?
8.
I'm gonna go 9 then.